Afternoon all, how are we doing? How is everybody? A bit of a pants session this morning, wasn't it? Everything just went up and down and up and down, didn't really go anywhere. So nice big strong push down on CAD Swiss, but pushed all the way back up again. US dollar pushed up, came all the way back, pushed up a little bit more. But pretty sideways session today. I was expecting a little bit more movement off of the US, but we didn't get it. So hey ho, is what it is. The DAX this morning, lovely opening range breakout. When it finally broke, but a bit of a depending on which, I mean, today's a prime example of the difference you will get in results on a day-by-day basis, depending on which you take. The 5-minute opening range break, we had a nice big strong push to the upside, came all the way back, and then broke back out the bottom and all the way down there. The 15-minute opening range break, which is the one that I took on my other account, I got that. I got out here. If you took the pre-market, we had a nice big strong push up, which you would have potentially got, but we had a whipsaw at the beginning. So you would have had an opportunity to get in there. That one would have stopped out, and then the third one would have got you out with a nice profit as well. So very mixed results, but obviously it depends which one you take. Some you win, some you lose. Afternoon, Eric. Afternoon, Diamond. Afternoon, good morning, Brian. Depending where you are in the world. So yeah, I had a complete cock up this morning with the EAs. Just had everything set up wrong. Hadn't closed out trades from Friday, pending orders. I have to put this on the VPS because it's just causing me chaos trying to trade it manually, which is not what the EAs are for. But I've managed to scalp the crap out of this thing this morning. I've had a lovely session in the DAX. So scalped the DAX basically on the break of the low. Got in there, pulled back, pushed in, got a second, added a third, added a fourth and a fifth, got out of some of it down there, got out of a bit more down here, added a bit more, got out down there. Then we looked like we were starting to reverse. We had a massive bull candle going, so I went long. Added on the way back down to the double bottom and got out of those there and there. So basically scalped all the way down and then all the way back up. Very nice. So I managed to get back all the losses from this morning and ended up 0.5% up, which is good. Nothing else has moved though, apart from the pound New Zealand. So I took another pound New Zealand this morning. My God, this thing just does not want to stop, does it? The pound today, we just had an ADR. Whoops, wrong one. On the pound odd hit ADR. The pound is, for some reason, having a little bit of a rally. So pound odd and pound New Zealand, the Aussie pair's not good so far today. New Zealand as well, a little bit weak this morning. So bit of a meh session there. Afternoon, Franco. US dollar yen, nice overnight again. Yeah, a bit of a push on that one. So we need to figure out what's going on with this US dollar. So far, no clues really today. News-wise this afternoon, we've got the Canadian IVPMI at 3 o'clock, half an hour after the market open. Apart from that, no news today. And then obviously it's on to the Australian dollar. So obviously the market is moving pre this news at the moment on the Aussies. So seems to be a little bit of a sell-off at the moment ahead of the news. But we will see. Afternoon, David. Had a good weekend. Had a crap morning this morning, but ended up back where I wanted to be. So the main issue I've got at the moment, this is pound New Zealand, 1.5% in drawdown on this. So I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start closing some of this out. It doesn't seem to want to be stopping at the moment. We've got some nice potential resistance coming up at this ADR basically. So I'm going to wait till ADR, see if we get any reversals at ADR, so drop down to M5. I'll wait for reverse alerts up here. So my last position is there, which is what's half an ADR on this? 80. So if we get up to ADR and get a reverse alert off of ADR, hopefully I'll get into another position up there. That'll be my last one before I start scaling out. The A might scale me out anyway, but up there, but it's not stopping. On a mission at the moment, pound. Afternoon, Frank. US 30 pre-open went well this morning as well. I haven't looked at it this morning. Yeah, so the pre-market you would have got in dependent, you might have got in along on that pre-market. So you might have got in along there and stopped out, but then you would have got in short and yeah, beautiful. Just collapse all the way. So yeah, very nice. Pre-market again today. So today, basically on the NASDAQ, I'm going to be trading pre-market. I watched the Dow as well. Toying the idea of starting to trade the Dow as well, because the Dow does seem to have some decent moves. Let's have a quick look at earnings. Where are we? 6th. So Friday we had Aon post-market. It's all aftermarket today. It's all software. And Pinterest. Gilead tomorrow. What else we've got this week? Not a massive amount this week. It's pretty meh this week, apart from Uber might shake things up, but not a lot of stock activity to look at. Morning, Warren. Looking for the Dixie to sweep 103,500. I haven't got the Dixie. So Euro US dollar's coming down at the minute. Oh, it's a fib. Let's get rid of that for a minute. So this area, this whole area here, basically, 4-day balance is where we're running into now. So potential here for a bounce back at some point. Right, long NASDAQ. Market's open. So just watch this for a sec. Dow's coming straight up into resistance. Okay. Tightening up my trailer to a little bit tighter, just to reduce risk. It was set for Friday's opening range, which was a little bit bigger. So I'm just tightening that up to 300, 30 points. So break even now with 20 points in profit. So it's a no lose, no risk trade. Coming up into potential resistance. So let's see if we get a break of that. Dow's moving nicely. That's not the Dow. That's the DAX. There we go. Yeah, I've only got one at TP. That's good. Let's take profit on one of those. It's a 1.5 hour TP there. So Dow pushing up, looking for high of the session, high of the day. Struggling a little bit up there. Afternoon ladder. Okay, TP on the first order. Second one just trailing at the moment. So just watching this area on the Dow. So this is high of the Globex session. I would expect to see some resistance up there if we get there. NASDAQ as well, high of the Globex session is actually further away. So that's there. So that's your Globex highs there. So that's target to the upside. And obviously a retracement basically is on the cards this afternoon. So a weak US dollar helping the indices up at the open, but we'll see if that stays the same. US dollar yen's got a lovely gap fill play. So potentially on the US dollar yen, looking at this, you've got a nice gap fill here. So when we opened up this morning, we pushed down. We didn't manage to get the gap fill done. About 60, 70% of gaps get filled same day. It's quite a high percentage. So there is a good chance we'll get that gap fill and then obviously open up to go wherever we want to from there, but we'll see. So there is a nice little short there if you get a reversal on M5. Okay, 5-minute candles in. So there's your 5-minute opening range on the NASDAQ. Quite a big one today. Depending whether you're taking the 5, 10 or 15, if you're not taking the pre-market like I am, then you'll be going long now. There's your high on the Dow. I've got the sentiment EA set up on a VPS, just on a demo, just to test it. I haven't had any trades taken yet. Nothing's got to yesterday's highs or lows yet. So, and some of these don't seem to be working, which I'm not quite sure what the issue is with these. Just not initializing for some reason. So I need to put some logging in to see why they're not initializing. But there's a few of these which, for some reason, they're just not working. I don't quite know why. Why has that got two numbers showing? I haven't set that to. I've set that to draw a new number every time, not to reuse the existing text field. So that's overwriting itself constantly. Yeah, I need to fix that. Another thing for the list. So we're just pulling back on the NASDAQ and the Dow. ADRs today, the only ADR we've got is the pound odd. That's why that 15-minute range is going in. So that's coming off of ADR nicely. So you're just about to get a reversal on that. Obviously, anything you take against the Australian dollar today, be very careful because we've got the rates tomorrow morning. So overnight, you're going to get huge moves on the Australian dollar. Whether it actually goes anywhere, it remains to be seen. We will get some movement on it, but whether or not it actually goes directional or not, we'll see. But potentially there's a nice reversal alert, potential fade. That area there is our propulsion candle that broke that high. So there's potential entry down to there, which is not bad. About third of an ADR. I like it short though, pound odd. So that's a good reversal. I'm not going to take any Australian dollar ahead of the news though, just in case it comes out. If the Aussie obviously comes out at a different number, which it can do because obviously it changes on a regular basis. They do something unexpected on a regular basis. So I'm not going to get into any Australian dollar. I do like pound odd short. It's where are we? Pound odd. There's no sentiment either way, and there's no cot positioning either way. But pound New Zealand has had cot short on it for ages, and sentiment, but it hasn't today. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Sentiment was to go short on that this morning. That's come down very, very nicely. Euro odd and Euro pound were both longs this morning. Nice move up. Euro pound has not done quite so well, but that's, we've got a big strong pound in at the moment, so potentially there's a good opportunity coming out of the lows here. Okay, so stopped out on the second half of the Nasdaq trade. One off there and one off there. So the Dow is pulling back now, so we're an inside bar. So there's your 5-minute on the Dow and the Nas. You're long if you're taking the 5-minute opening range. If you're taking the 10 or the 15, you're still waiting for obviously the formation of the opening range. Ghouls in the machine. Where's their ghouls? Oh, in this one, yeah. No, this is just me being stupid. But, yeah, no. This there is some. I don't quite know why this one isn't loading. Euro odd. Let's remove it and just try again. Actually. Nine. Ah, there you go. It's worked this time. It's something to do with this VPS. CAD Swiss hasn't worked either. 6. It's obviously where I was going through putting them on. It's for some reason it's not initialized for some unknown reason. I don't know why. There we go. Now it's initialized. I'm obviously moving too fast for my VPS, so I need to go through and sort some of those out that haven't worked. Most of them worked fine. So I'm just basically running this on the sentiment just to basically trade yesterday's high-low sweeps. So there's one coming up there on Euro Pound. Euro Pound is a long. Everybody's short on that. So if we get a sweep down below yesterday's low and break back above, then I'll be taking a long on that, or rather the EA will. So I'll monitor that. Okay, we've got divergence again. So Dow is pushing down, Nasdaq is pushing up. One of them's wrong. David, been testing a set file that looks good. It's exactly like your pre-market one, but it's a bit higher risk, using 200% of the opening range with a 10-point trailer. So 10-point trailers, I've got some set files with 10-point trailers that make over £1 million a year, $1 million a year. The problem with a 10-point trailer is you will get stopped out on 90% of your trades. The ones you don't are going to be the ones where it goes like that, like that, like that, for 15 minutes solid, like a rocket. Those days, because you've got such high lot sizing, because the ranges are small, those days you'll make an absolute fortune. The other days, you'll find you'll get stopped out constantly and you won't get back in, because the problem with the pre-market 15 is to get, like, I'm out now. I'm done. I'm basically done for the day. If this doesn't trade back inside here and close inside here, I'm not going to be trading again today. With those 10-point trailers, unless it goes parabolic, you're stopped out quite quickly and you'll never get back in again. So it's a very frustrating thing to trade. However, they look really, really good on paper. So I think if you trade it, you've got to just stick it on a VPS and never look at the thing, because it will drive you mental. You'll be like it was with me this morning. You'd just be stopped out and you'd be like, I can't get back in. You want to trade. And if you make, like, I don't know, well, 10 points, for example, and you get out with $100 in profit, and then the thing goes parabolic, or does this, where you got a lovely 15-minute opening range, you just want to trade that. You're going to have to trade that manually, but yeah, looks good. Send me your set file and I'll compare it with, if you DM me, David, the one that you've got, I'll have a look at it and compare it to the one that I've been working on. Because I've got one for the Dow and one for the Nasdaq. Well, I haven't tested it on the DAX yet. And I haven't live tested it either yet. But yeah, you can make some good money. But, you know, days like this, obviously, you know, look at the pullback on this candle here. That's a 40-point pullback. So obviously your 10-point, you're going to be out and done, aren't you? Right, so if you're trading the 15-minute ORB, you're long. So the 5 and the 15 is pretty much the same entry today. There's your first 5 pushed. We've had pullback, inside bar, and now we're pushing. So the 15-minute and the 5-minute opening range break are both longs. And we are stuck on the Dow. Got stopped out today around break even. Yeah, you will. That's the trouble. You'll get loads of stops, break even stops, and trailed stop outs, obviously, because this thing moves. All the instruments at the open move somewhere between sort of 20 to 60 points per candle. So you are going to get stopped out almost guaranteed in the first 5-minute candle, if not definitely the second. But if you've got a very tight opening range pre-market, your lot size is going to be about 25. You get a 3, 4, 5 to 1 candle, a bit like you had today, you can make a lot of money very quickly. Right. Well, I'm basically done on my opening range breakout this morning, so I should have to wait. The reason I was switching over to the Dow, I was just thinking of taking a long on the Dow because we got divergence with the Nasdaq at the moment, and I just wanted to see what was happening with the Nas at the highs there, because I might look to take a Dow long if we get a close above on the Nas. I might try a long on the Dow. Just waiting to see if there's any strength, because if not, it may be that the Nas is just going to run out of steam up there and it's going to come down and the Dow is going to be in charge today. So I'm just waiting to see what happens, but I might take a quick short on the Dow. So I've just adjusted my stop to 60 points. Yeah, that's 750. I might go a bit bigger than that actually. Nasdaq's rejecting the highs again. Okay, sell stop under the low on the Dow. Looking to go short. Big rejection on the Nasdaq. So looks to me like potentially the Dow might be in control. S&P not able to make any new highs either. Choppy old open today, isn't it? Again, I have to say, the one thing that I don't trade at the moment is the Dow with the opening range breakout. And that is the one I seem to be seeing making the most clean moves at the moment. Certainly seems to be a lot cleaner than the Nasdaq over the last couple of weeks. Okay, so we just closed that candle. So the Nasdaq has not managed to make a new high. So I'm going to try a short on the Dow if it closes down on this candle. If not, obviously I won't get in. But so we've got a lower high and a lower low on the Dow. And Nasdaq, we've got a higher high and a higher low. So we've got divergence, meaning one of these two is in control. Don't know which. Quite fancy short in the Nasdaq as well, but wait and see. Afternoon, Luke. We'll have a look at the FX pairs in a minute and just see what's been going on this morning. Okay, we're pushing out the highs. Trying to anyway. There's our high on the Nasdaq. Okay, I'm going to try a sell stop underneath this low on the Dow, and that'll be the add down there on the second one, just because we're seeing the Nasdaq struggling. Short on the Dow. So I'd like to see the NAS manage to get a new lower high and a lower low. And then I'm going to add on a break of that low. And then potentially if we break that low, so there's a new low on the Nasdaq. Useless thing. Just about to get a reversal alert on the Nasdaq. I've got 1 minute left on this candle, but looks like it's going to give us a reversal alert. Let's move my stop down a little bit on the Dow. Right. Well, we didn't manage to get anywhere there, so just chop at the minute. This is awkward. I'm long on the Nasdaq on my other account, and I'm short on the Dow. So, in theory, I should at least win one of these trades, shouldn't I? There's loads of RSIs lit up as well today. We'll have a quick look through those in a minute. We had a look at them all this morning, but it's pretty much the same stuff. I'm going to give this candle. If this hasn't gone anywhere in this candle, I'm going to close it out because it's we're literally just chopping for this is 25 minutes now. We haven't gone anywhere. Market's got no direction at the minute. Probably the next 10 minutes we'll get a move, I reckon. Half an hour in, we should get some kind of directional bias, but at the minute this is not going anywhere. So if we get an inside bar on the Dow here, I'm going to close this out. It's just not going anywhere. I don't want to be sitting. We're an inside bar on the Nasdaq as well at the moment. We're just not going anywhere. So there's no point in sitting in a trade that's directionless. It's 50-50 shot either way. I was playing this on the price action, but the price action's not there anymore, is it? So it's a little bit more bullish. Mm. US dollar doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Yeah, it's bullish. Just keep hearing ticks coming in long. Yeah, we've got CAD PMI. So I'm just going to reduce risk down, right down on this. Just give it basically a double top plus spread just before the news. I can't see why they're waiting for the CAD PMIs, but maybe they are. Hopefully they come out positive because that'll drive the US up and then this will come down. Mind you, I want it to go long because I'm long on the Nasdaq. So yeah, I can't really win or lose this. Let's just see if there's any news. Financial juice is on, so we'll hear the PMI figures. Forecast is 42.3. Okay, it's pushing up. Look on the Nasdaq, pushing down on the Dow. This thing's all over the place today. Closing that. I don't like it. Cancelling the pending. It looks long to me. We've had nothing but positive ticks coming in on Tick Strike. PMIs was 60. Hugely positive. But not really doing anything, is it? So I'm long on the Nasdaq on my other account on the 15-minute opening range break. So I'm literally just long on this with one position from there. So we'll see. But this isn't going anywhere. Probably going to collapse now. There we go. Nasdaq's long. So anybody on the 15-minute opening range break with me, you're long. Ladder, minus 1.23 today. I'll leave it there. What on? Should have made money this morning on the DAX. If you were playing the opening range break, obviously, but this thing's just chopping at the minute. Kind of think this thing's going to explode one way or the other in a minute. This seems like it's wanting to go. One of these needs to give up. So if the Dow gives up trying to go short and actually decides to go long, the Nasdaq's going to fly. Likewise, if the Dow keeps dumping, the Nasdaq's not going to be able to push higher, and it's going to come down. So I'm just going to adjust my stops on my other account. I don't like the look of this Nasdaq either. I shouldn't intervene, but I'm going to because I don't like the look of it. So I've just adjusted my stops basically in here, just at the bottom of this wick on this candle here, just under there, just reducing the risk basically, just that much, just in case this thing pings back, but hopefully it'll go. Something's holding it back today, isn't it? Franco, internet killing me. Aussie US got good gain. Closed. You're off. Okay. Good man. As long as you're making profit. Yeah, we're stuck here, aren't we? This thing's pulling in both directions. Something's got to give in a minute. Right, let's have a look at the FX pairs. So the only thing we've got today to look at is the pound odd from an ADR perspective. That's just come off of ADR quite nicely. Haven't had a reversal alert on it yet, though. So we hit ADR, we've pulled back straight into the support rectangle, bounced. So we're putting in a potential M pattern short and a reversal alert for a short. Pound odd bias is short. It's range bound short. You've got no bias from a COP perspective. You've got no bias from retail. Looking at the fundamentals on this, obviously we're expecting the Aussie rates to go up to 3.35 tomorrow, which will be a plus 2.5 increase. Their inflation is still going up. Their unemployment figures haven't changed. GDP is dropping. So it's all pretty negative odd at the moment because they forgot to increase their interest rates. Silly. But anyway, so yeah, not looking great for them at the moment. Pound looking bad anyway. So I like it as a short, but if you're going to take this, as I say, you've got to be very careful tomorrow. If they decide to come out with anything like a 3.5, which would be the obvious thing to move up to, you're going to get a big move there. So that's all your ADRs. Top buys and sells. Aussie dollar, US dollar is your top sell from a sentiment perspective. Been coming down all day. And we looked at the other ones, the euro odd long and the euro pound, which is down here at the moment. So euro pound's looking pretty good for a long opportunity. Yesterday's low would be the obvious spot. So the market is short. Yeah. So all the liquidity is sitting up there at yesterday's high at the moment. So that looks like a good looking long opportunity. If we can get that yesterday's low taken out, that'd be a nice little long. But we'll see. So yeah, that's your other long today. There's US dollar yen, US dollar CAD, euro yen, and euro CAD are also potentially good long opportunities. Another good one there on euro New Zealand as a long as well. That's not gone anywhere yet today. I'd much rather take that long down here. But yeah, so there's the sentiment trades. A couple of those already played out. One of them, euro pound, is a good looking opportunity for a long. Have I got the EA running on that? No. bit extended, isn't it? It's coming down nicely though. Yeah, I like that euro pound. Dixie just swept 103.5. Right. So RSIs, there are loads of them. So I looked at all these this morning. Anything basically with Australian dollar in it, up to you. But I'm not getting involved in any Australian dollar ahead of the interest rate tomorrow. If you're going to get into anything Aussie, you're literally gambling on whether or not it's going to be a long or a short in the morning. So it's difficult to take a trade on any of these. So I would kind of give them a miss at the moment. But if you do fancy them, they are all nicely extended. Aussie US, obviously, very extended, but this is all on US dollar. So if we get decent, this is exactly where I was looking to buy it. So it's a lovely buy right now. However, you are banking on the fact that the Australian rates come out as expected or higher than expected tomorrow to get that to move. Other than that, I don't think that thing's really going to move. So tricky. I would be very cautious of those. Euro odd, same thing. No point in getting involved in that. Also, the New Zealand dollar will move tomorrow as well off of the Australian interest rates because they are strong trade partners. So what happens to the Aussie also affects the New Zealand as well. So other good opportunities, and again, these US dollar ones, I'd be very careful with anything US dollar extended like the Euro US dollar. We need to know what the US dollar is going to be up to. At the moment, it looks like the US dollar is still strong. So a bit of movement on the US dollar CAD, US dollar Swiss, US dollar yen. Euro US is coming down. Pound US isn't, but it's not particularly strong. Yeah, so that what I was hoping for today after the moves that we had on Friday was a clue as to which way we want to go on this move. That to me is not enough movement to really give any indication as to what this US dollar's up to. So at the moment, it still looks fairly strong. And a strong US dollar would indicate that the indices would potentially start to drop down a little bit. They're not at the moment. So I don't think really the US dollar is actually being manipulated much at all today. So NASDAQ has just pushed nicely out at the top. So long now. 50. So I'm just going to adjust my trailers on it. So I'm just going to adjust my trailers on this long up to here. So just reducing a little bit more risk. I don't like this. It's not fast enough. This move. It's we've sat here for ages. My stop was there. I've moved it up to here. I'm just moving it now up to there. I don't like it. Yeah. So. Brian, there's no point in posting the Dixie in the Telegram group. No one can see it. I don't pay any attention to the Dixie at all. I don't. If you're going to pay attention to the Dixie, you might as well watch the futures market. It's the same thing. Dixie is the futures contracts, isn't it? So I'm not interested in individuals. I'm interested in currency crosses. Currency crosses just doesn't matter what the Dixie's doing. If the Dixie's pumping really, really hard and the pound is pumping harder, pound US dollar is not going to go the way of the Dixie, is it? So you need to work on the crosses, really. I used to start paying attention to the Dixie. I used to pay attention to the Dixie, but then when you realize it's the Euro US upside down, you know that I can tell you the Dixie's pumping because the Euro US is coming down. This is in exact inverse of the Dixie index. So you can kind of use that as a gauge. But obviously you can't use it as a 100% gauge because obviously if the Euro is dumping and the US dollar is going sideways, the Euro US dollar is still going to go down, isn't it? So not quite the same thing, but it gives you a good indication anyway. So yeah, so with all these RSIs, have a look at them all. Anything that is not US dollar, CAD, or Aussie related is kind of worth having a look at, I think. But anything that is related to those, we need to see whether or not this move is going to be continued. At the moment, it's not. It's not strong enough for me to warrant that. I want to see a big down day on this. If that's the case, then I would assume that we are going to get some US dollar strength moving forward. But until that happens, I'm not really interested in mean reverting anything on the US dollar. Bias is long on it, as far as I'm concerned. So I only really want to be playing strong and weak currencies against each other. So if you look at the scorecard, US dollar CAD, and any of these short basically against the US dollar. So don't know, not enough movement yet for me to really gauge which way that thing's going. I still think it's got a pullback in it. I just don't know how far and when. That's the thing. It's just too difficult to fathom at the moment. New Zealand dollar Swiss. So that is a nice RSI extension, New Zealand dollar Swiss. So nicely extended to the downside on the hourly, and the 4 hourly is also extended. So there's potential for a nice bounce there on that one. There's not really any directional bias on it at all. It's range bound. It's mixed. Yeah, I mean, there's just there's no strength either way on it at the moment. So potentially, yeah, nice little bounce on that one upcoming. Again, this will be affected tomorrow by the Australian. So we had a reversal on it this morning and a retest, and had a bit of a pullback, but it's found some sellers coming in. So difficult. Very nicely extended though, but there's no real directional bias on it. So not really interested in that one. New Zealand dollar CAD is the CAD. Pound US dollar is the US dollar. That's really extended the pound US dollar. Again, really like that as a mean reversion, but you can, reversal alert followed by a reversal alert. There's a lot of strength in both directions, not going anywhere. Not really easy to trade at the moment. Pound New Zealand is another one. I'll be looking for this one as a short. I'm already short. So I'm coming up to where I'm looking for the pound New Zealand to reverse, which is here. Nasdaq's just pulled back down inside the opening range again. It's not going anywhere today. And stopped out. So I've just stopped out on that one. It's very, very small loss. 30-point loss. Not really sure where that thing's going, is it? Look at the Dow since I got out the Dow as well. Down, back up, down. So since we pushed up and came back down again, it's not a nice thing to be trading at the moment. So yeah, pound New Zealand dollar. We got this area up here of interest. So that height and that height, which basically wraps itself around ADR. So I'll be getting into another position there. Short. Pound is short. New Zealand dollar is a long. There's no retail sentiment on side at the moment. There was when I first got into that trade, but like it as a short, it's a sell. COTS on side, fundamentals are on side. If we can get some retail on side as well, that thing will come down pretty quick. So just scaling into that one like that. Pound yen, all the yen pairs still haven't got a clue. I really don't know what to do with any of these yen pairs. So we're nicely extended on the hourly on that one. We looked at this for a bounce last week, and it did. I can't bring myself to long the pound though, so I'm not really interested in that one. I'd much rather be shorting it. But yen at the moment fairly weak. Pound's not doing too bad. This is kind of usually where I'd like to be looking short. So dropping down, looking for reversal alerts on M5, M15, potentially for a short entry, but I'm not really interested in the yen at the moment. It's up, down, up, down, up, down, no real directional bias. Pound Swiss is extended again to the upside on the hourly. Sorry, to the downside on the hourly. Again, I'm not looking to long the pound. I'll wait for it to get up into here or somewhere up there for a short opportunity. It's CAD, that's US, Euro New Zealand. Nice extended to the upside. I'm long Euro, don't want to take that short. And Euro odd, wouldn't want to get into that one ahead of the news. So there's not really a massive amount of opportunity. If you're not paying any attention to fundamentals, there's loads out there. If you are paying attention to fundamentals, nothing's really lining itself up at the moment, apart from what I'm on at the moment, which is just in drawdown at the minute. Nothing's pushing. And that stupid gold, I had a look at this. I had an out on this today. I didn't take it. Should have got out, but I didn't. So I wasn't paying attention. I was doing other things. Pound New Zealand, I've just scaled out of a little bit more. There you go. So that's what I was saying about the EA scaling me out automatically. So Pound New Zealand, it's just scaled out of a third of that position. So it's taken a 0.19 off of that because it's hit an ADR. That'd be one ADR, which is 160. There we go. It's 160 pips scaled out. So I will be getting back in there. Again, just keeping my average within an ADR, nice and comfortably within an ADR, waiting for that ADR push to get out with some profits on it, and then obviously decide where we go from there. But yeah, not getting anywhere, are we? Fast on that one, a minute. So we're just coming up into resistance. So this is looking really good for an opportunity short. So next reversal will be there on M15 or M5 tighter will be there. Oh, I just got into another one. There we go. So like that one as a short. So that's it on those. Buyer scorecard. Obviously, these are the ones these are the best buys and sellers out there from a fundamental and retail sentiment perspective. So US dollar CAD, all the yens, most of the yens, as I say, are all longs at the moment, but kind of disregard them a little unless you have got a long bias on the yen, because these are all longs purely based on the fact that the fundamental bias on the yen is always going to be positive for everything else because it has a -1 interest rate. So taking those out of the equations, euro pound is really good. That is a +5, but +6 of that is on COT and on retail. So I really like the look of that euro pound. I'm really tempted to start jumping into that. I'm not quite sure why this pound is so strong today, though. In my view, the next step in the bank rate is more likely to be another hike. Yeah, okay. Nothing we didn't know. There's no reason for the market to pump up on that. We know it's going up. ADR, Aussie dollar, US dollar. So this Aussie is selling off quite hard ahead of the news tomorrow. Which is why pound New Zealand is rallying so hard. Aussie dollar Swiss just hit. So all these New Zealands will be coming down along with the Australian dollar. So, you know, this is why you only trade one or the other. If you're going to trade pound New Zealand, trade pound New Zealand. Don't trade pound Oz as well because you're trading the same thing, basically. Those two move together when there's news. So there's a couple of ADRs there to look at. Aussie dollar, US dollar. The downside, and Aussie dollar Swiss. But again, you know, up to you if you want to take these. There's quite possible the market is just reaching for liquidity before pumping tomorrow on the news. You don't know what that news is going to be. If that news comes out as negative and you've gone long on it, if you're getting into position, you're going to go into drawdown, aren't you? So these are risky this afternoon, these ones. Certainly pushing hard though. My pound New Zealand's up in the area I want it to be now. So this is lovely for a reversal up here. Really nice support resistance area. So nice short from there. NASDAQ, I've just gone short NAS. Not quite sure I want to go short when I'm that extended. This thing's due a pullback. This is not the best place to be getting in short. Never mind. That's what EAs do. That's what's back tested. That's what I'm going to do. What's the Dow doing? Okay, Dow's just come straight back into support as well. Look. I'm bouncing. It's not a good trade at all. That is not a good trade. Dow looking like it wants to give a reversal as well there, but it's such a mess. The market's an absolute mess today. See what happens with that one. So US dollar CAD, good looking long opportunity in euro pound. Really like that euro pound. Keep coming back to that euro pound. Wanted to get in. Exposure at the moment, I've got a pound short. I've got no euro on, though I have got a Swiss long. So support wise on euro pound, we've got this level here. So pushed up into that area there. So anywhere around 125 ADR, potentially for a bounce on that one. As I say, I'm not quite sure why we've got such a strong strong pound at the moment. We're just about to get extended on the hourly, and we're in a support rectangle as well. Might have gone that. So 637. So I'm going to go long euro pound on M5. M5. So I'll be getting on the next reversal on that one. Euro pound long. So I'll be getting in there. Or obviously, if it pushes down further, then I will look to get in. We'll be down at ADR as well. So I'll look for an entry there. US dollar CAD. So again, depends how you think about US dollar at the moment. This is obviously still going. So it's a long and it's going long. So missed it. No point looking at that one. Aussie, no point looking at Aussie New Zealand or Aussie CAD, really. They're both massively extended. And we've got Aussie dollar news tomorrow. Pound New Zealand, again, I'm short on that one. Hoping for strong Aussie dollar, which will power up the New Zealand dollar, which will bring pound New Zealand down. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, there's no point looking at that. Aussie US dollar, not much point in looking at that either. So the only things we can really look at are pound US dollar and euro US dollar. Unless you really want to get into some Aussie ahead of tomorrow when you're very brave. But pound US dollar. So these are sells. Obviously, it's coming down. Euro US dollar coming down. So again, missed them. They were last week. The entries up here. on RSI. So all played out. So look for pullbacks and all these to get in, really. That's the job of the week. NASDAQ. So back within the pre-market 15 now. So I've got potential for a long breakout as well, but I am also short at the moment. So I could get hedged again. It's the only downside to this set file is the hedging. Ladder. Really tempted to long the Aussie CAD or New Zealand CAD at these levels, but the RBA decision makes me kind of nervous. If you're going to long them, there's nothing wrong with longing them. Aussie US as well, because these are so extended. Aussie CAD obviously is a nice ADR. Sorry, no, Aussie US is a nice ADR, isn't it? Yeah, Aussie US and Aussie Swiss. So Aussie CAD or Aussie US potentially. Don't forget, it doesn't really matter which of these you take. If you take any of these tomorrow morning, it's not going to make any difference which one you take, apart from Aussie New Zealand and Aussie yen, because you're trading the Australian dollar in the Asian session against European or US pairs. So there's going to be no liquidity around to move them. So if this is going to move the Aussie tomorrow in your direction, it's going to move, and there's not going to be anybody around to pump the US, the Swiss, or the CAD. So it will get a run regardless until the London session. So the question is, where are you going to put a stop if you're going to use a stop on it? And if you're not going to use a stop, it's a bit brave to position trade it. But I really like that down there where it is. This level. So we're down at this area at the minute, sort of that zone where we pushed up, finally broke through, hit a bit of support, slammed through it. Yeah. So this whole zone here where we are right now is one massive propulsion gap on the 4-hour chart at the 72 moving average with an ADR extension. Just looks really, really nice as a long. The thing that is question mark is, are we going to get strength on the US dollar? The NASDAQ's coming down pretty hard at the moment. And the Dow. So, don't know. It's really, really extended though. Really nicely extended. So yeah, really like it from an extension perspective. But look what we got. Look how extended we were on the hourly. Look what we got. Just when we get these, you know, these are fundamental shifts. The reason the US dollar is moving is on a fundamental shift, which is unemployment rate coming down. It was forecast to go up, and it didn't not go up. It came down by a percentile when we've just put the interest rates up. Yeah, so we put the interest rates up on Wednesday, expecting unemployment to go up, and it came down. So this is all really, really positive US. So it's going to take something pretty strong to either move the Aussie US or the Aussie against the CAD all the way back to here. However, you know, they can do that. If the Aussies come out at 3.5 instead of 3.35, the Aussie will fly. But, you know, that's the choice you take, isn't it? So I would, if I was going to get into these, and the problem, I can't get into these because if I get in, I need a stop. If I put a stop on it, overnight swap, they're going to take me out anyway. The Aussie and the New Zealand get really wide swaps. So at the swap, you're probably going to get taken out if you put a stop loss in. What you kind of need is something automated to put a stop loss in place at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. But my NASDAQ short is break even. Stop. Risk free. Might get another TP out of this. It'd be nice. But yeah, I'm not sure. Has anybody got any Australian exposure on at the moment? Any Aussie or New Zealand? Only thing I've got on is that I've got 2 New Zealands. I've got no Aussie on at the moment. I just don't really want Aussie at the minute. Too scared. Too scared to trade the Aussie. Don't mind admitting it. I just can't take I can't take a position on this. As much as I think it's going to push tomorrow, I just I don't know. Difficult, isn't it? If you look at the Aussie CAD is a sell. Aussie New Zealand is a sell. Aussie US is a sell. There's nothing positive about the Aussie at the moment. But again, that is all possibly going to change tomorrow, isn't it? This is why we pay attention to fundamentals, because they will affect the way that the market should be going. So, COT as well. They're all short the Aussie. The market, futures market is short the Aussie. What's retail doing with the Aussie? Pretty mixed. So we got some longs and we got some shorts, but overall the market is long the Aussie. Again, that's bearish. It's all pointing down for it. I don't know. I don't know. I might stop out on this NASDAQ by the looks of things. It's a bit of a brave entry getting in short there, but yeah, this thing needs a bit of a pullback. So if you were taking the 15-minute ORB, you are short from there. Stop above the high, or wherever your trailer's moved to if you're using trailer. Choppy old session today. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? See if I got into any sentiment trades yet. No. Stopped out, break even on the NASDAQ. BPS connection is really slow for some reason. I don't know whether it's me or whether it's the VPS. Euro pound, I'm long. So I just got in long on that reversal alert, M5. So first long position, Euro pound. So we're sitting in the support rectangle as well. Potentially nice double bottom bounce off of yesterday's low. Although we haven't quite got it yet, but only just got the reversal alert. So target on this. I mean, yesterday's high is the obvious spot to aim for back up there, assuming that we are going to just push back up. So I'm just going to target yesterday's high, which is about 0.45%. No one got anything else to look at? No. So that's really all I got for you this afternoon. There's nothing much else to look at, really. Just waiting for the Aussie tomorrow. Once the Aussie's out of the way, I think we can just look at everything really from there. And now we've got everything out of the way, we can sort of say, right, well, which way are we going with everything? Because we've got no more interest rate announcements. We've got inflation figures coming out next week in retail, but all the interest rates are out of the way now. So it's a case of just seeing how the market reacts to the new fundamentals, which look to me like we are strengthening up finally on the US dollar, which would be absolutely lovely. US dollar Swiss. So
thanks for the follow.
Whoa, what the? Wrong button. US dollar Swiss is range bound, ever so slightly long. So cot bias is long, retail. Sorry, US dollar Swiss. Here we are. Cot bias is long, retail is currently the other way. Fundamentals are fairly mixed on it. So you can kind of trade this any direction at the moment. The problem with the US dollar Swiss is it's very erratic. So we've got a pair with the US dollar, which moves an awful lot on news, and obviously is the world's currency, so it gets pushed around. We've got the Swiss franc, which pumps and dumps very, very fast as money moves through it. A lot of money moves through the Swiss banking system. So you've got something which is moving very strong against something moving very strong, which gives you a lot of this kind of crazy movement. So if you look at it, whoops, it's very up and down. There's no directional bias on it. So literally any RSI extension you can take. So if you want to take it to the downside, the entry was last week on Friday. We're coming up into potential resistance with a lovely big propulsion gap. But the question is always, are we going to get that propulsion gap filled now? Or are we going to go off and come back in a week or two's time? So most when you look at big propulsion gaps, unless this is the fundamental shift on this Swiss franc, but most big propulsion gaps get filled fairly quickly. So you can see here, look, big propulsion gap fill, big move up, big move down, came back up, filled it within a couple of days. So whenever we get a big, strong propulsion move, we usually get the gap fill fairly quick. Big, strong propulsion, I would expect to come down and fill it fairly quick. Regardless of which way we're going, the market will want to come back and test that area. So I really like it as a short. Swiss franc has got the power to do it. But we are reliant on the US dollar. When you get a big, strong move on fundamentals, which were not expected, we quite often see an accumulation or a flag and then a new leg start. Yeah, at the moment, that's kind of what we're doing. But we are up at resistance, where you're going to find a lot of limit orders triggering south. So really difficult to pick a direction on this one at the minute. I would say short term, I like it short. Long term, probably long. But it's a long based on cot positioning. So the market is long US dollar, and as I say, this US dollar positioning on cot that we've got at the moment is at the moment 65% long. That is before all the fundamentals came out last week for the US dollar. Bigger interest rates, better unemployment, everything going positive. So I suspect when we get the new cot figures coming out, which will get published on Saturday on the website here, that will get longer. And Swiss franc at the moment, the market is very, very short. So difficult US dollar Swiss. But from a technical perspective, you're up at a level where you would expect to find resistance, which we are. So if this is going to hold and the limits are going to trigger and there's going to be enough of them and we drive down below this level, we will push back down into here somewhere. We'll get an ADR hit to the downside. So I like it short personally at the moment. Next reversal alert short is going to be there. And you've got good 80 points to the downside. Nearly, well, it's an ADR, isn't it? So I like it short. At the moment, fundamentally though, not necessarily a short. So difficult. You know, whenever you look at the bias scorecard and you've got something which is range bound, it's range bound for a reason. There is no bias. You know, there's something fighting something. These ones where you've got big numbers, longs and shorts, it means we've got cot on side, we've got retail on side, we've got fundamentals on side. Everything's pointing that way, which is why these are the buys and these are the sells, because everything in between is potentially going to go up and down, because you've got stuff that's strong against stuff that's strong, or you've got stuff that's weak against stuff that's weak, and there's just not any strong directional bias. Or you jump on board with sentiment and retail and go with that. So difficult one, that one. But price action at the moment would suggest potentially it's a short. Which means back down into here initially and then further. NASDAQ just breaking back up inside the 15-minute pre-market. We've got 1 minute 30 left on this candle. So we've got a nice rejection here. So if we can close inside of here, I'm going to get another entry short. See if we can get that on. Nice strong push up inside there. So let's have a quick look at the Dow. So structure's short at the minute. Nice rejection on the Dow as well. See if I can get a close. If we get a close inside this opening range, I'll be able to get a short on. I like it short at the moment, but saying that, do we like it short? That's limit orders triggering long, isn't it? So got new entry short, pending order. So basically we're back to where we started. We haven't gone anywhere yet. So reset. Let's see if we can go short again. So if you look at these last three candles, yeah, big rejection, hammer. So this is limit orders triggering off the lows of Globex. So this is the Globex low. Limit orders triggering at the low of the day. After the limit orders went in, we got higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. At the moment we are higher low. Welcome aboard, MZ. So potentially this is obviously bullish where we are at the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, potentially this is a bear flag forming. So one of those two things is going to happen. Don't know which. Got a new high coming in now. So there we go. Got a higher low, higher high just gone in again. So 4 bull candles in a row. Same with the NASDAQ. Oh, sorry, NASDAQ. The Dow. So we had the rejection on the Dow. So put in higher highs, higher lows for the last 3 candles. Long on the NASDAQ. This is where I don't like the pre-market 15. I really do need to set this up. 1.5 hours, I reckon, is the limit on this. So where are we? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. Yeah, an hour. The whole purpose of this pre-market is to catch that. So this thing, I think, needs to be turned off 1 hour in. Because what I've just gone long on here, I mean, it's obviously got the same chance as any other trade. It's 50-50. But the stop loss positioning on there is nonsensical. The stop loss positioning on the pre-market makes sense. We're trading the 15-minute range, so therefore it's going to break out of one of those two, so we stop either side. When I've gone long here, what's the point in having a stop loss there? Doesn't make any sense, does it? So this needs to be closed, I think, on an hour. I need to retest this set file and see what impact it has, because every trade that it's taking after the initial pre-market 15 is kind of luck. Well, they're all luck, obviously. There is nothing but luck. It either goes your way or it doesn't. It's down to the market participants and where they drive it. But it doesn't make sense to hold the positions, I don't think, any longer than that there. So I reckon 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Yeah, maybe an hour is the logical timeout on that one. We look at the DAX this morning. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 1 hour. Then we made our decision. So that's fine. So you get that hour, potentially hour of chop pre-market. Difficult. Would you put more emphasis on the scorecard or the combined sentiment? All of it. It depends what you're... they're different things. So the combined sentiment takes into account COT and retail. So what you want on the combined sentiment is you want retail the wrong side. So when COT, if the commitment of traders, if the futures market, all the non-commercials are long, as they are with all this lot, yeah, you want to be going this. I always want to trade in the direction that the big market participants are trading in, because those are the guys that move the market. And if they're going to move the market, they're going to move it long because that's their interest. It's in their interest to move it that way. And their scorecarding systems tell them that that's what we should be doing. Yeah. So if my scorecard agrees with their scorecard, I'm happy. Retail, the only reason they help us is because they're wrong most of the time. And if they are trading as they are at the moment on the euro pound, if they are trading south, it means that their liquidity is at the highs. So when these guys need to find liquidity, they will drive it up to find the liquidity at the highs. So when you've got COT going one way and retail going the other way, that is kind of the perfect storm. If you've also got fundamentals pointing that way, double bubble. Yeah. So that one, we've got very strong COT bias and retail sentiment saying to go long, but it's only a +5, which tells me that the actual fundamentals on this are negative. So the fundamentals aren't quite as good. They're slightly better for the pound than the euro, but the market is positioned to go that way. So, which is why, you know, if you're going to trade one thing and one thing only, if I had a gun to my head and said, right, Nick, this month you've got to make money guaranteed, I would do nothing but sell those, because I've got COT on board, I've got retail on board at the moment, I've got fundamentals all pointing the same way as well. So Aussie dollar, US dollar at the moment would be the thing that I would trade if I only had to trade one thing. NASDAQ long, just about a TP potentially, all locked in profit. Euro pound's moving nice. That reversal alert. Again, you know, it's sentiment. Yeah. Basically, you know, COT is positioned long euro, short pound. Retail is positioned long euro, short pound. Yeah, they're all short. So the whole market at the moment is shorting the euro. So all the liquidity today is sitting there. There's a massive pile of cash sitting there. There's a massive pile of cash sitting there. So we want to take an opportunity for when the market wants to go and get that cash. When you've got everything else on your side as well, which we haven't in this case, but if we did, even better. You kind of can pick one or the other. You know, there is no right or wrong. All this is a guide to give you all the data, all the facts. It doesn't mean that this is going up, you know, by any, you know, it doesn't mean that's going up. Look at my pound New Zealand. It's beautifully going down now, but you know, it's not. It won't do it. And this is the whole timing thing, yeah? This is what I go on about in the bootcamp all the time. You cannot time the market. You have no control over timing the market. And that's what everybody tries to do. Oh, I'm going to get in there. Well, fine, get in there. But that doesn't got no bearing on whether that thing is moving up and down. This thing moves up and down depending on whether or not the big market participants need to go and fill orders in a direction or another. So the best timing tool you can have is something that says you should be doing that. That says you should be doing that. That says you should be doing that. When you get there, do that. Put it all together into one pot. You think like a solicitor. Pound New Zealand. The reason I'm short on the pound New Zealand, yeah, was, and it isn't anymore, but was because the market was long on it. So I wanted to go short. Pot was already short on it. Fundamentals were saying it was short. So the fundamentals for the pound are worse than the New Zealand. The big market participants are shorting it. And at the time I got into the trade, retail were as well. But look what happened to it. Doesn't mean it's going to come down just because of all the fundamentals. But what it does mean is there's more chance of it doing that than doing that, because fundamentally everything points that way, which means large market participants will want to trade that way, and some of them already are trading that way. All we need is retail to go long on the thing, and all their liquidity that's sitting down here is just going to get grabbed by the market. But I've no idea when it's going to happen. I just want to be on board in the right direction. NASDAQ, might get out one manually. I'm just going to watch this NASDAQ because I want to take one off. 506, that's the TP. And just taking one off. The other one is break even, is covered anyway. So I'm not going to let it do that. Said that too many times. Miss my TP by that much and then come back. Thank the money. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to pay attention to the bigger picture, this is the smaller picture. I class this as the smaller picture. This is the, because obviously retail sentiment on a day-by-day basis, this changes. This is updated every hour. So this changes hour by hour. Yeah. So this is kind of your short-term view. COT is your kind of long-term view. This is the reason I've got this page. It's kind of your long-term view mixed with your short-term view. So we're waiting for an opportunity to go long, but we're waiting for the best opportunity is when retail is going the other way, because we know the liquidity is exactly where the market wants it to be. But again, you can't use any of this as timing. It's just a reason to get into a trade, in the same way that the RSI is a reason to get into the trade. There you go, hit my TP. Should have let it go, but I was too scared. Yeah, look at how extended that is, 87 on the RSI, yeah? And look how fast it's coming down. This is the elastic band theory that, again, I talk about in the bootcamp. The more stretched the elastic band is, the more extended we are on RSI, without having any kind of pullback or profit take move, the more likely that snapback is going to be quick and fast. Yeah. Again, you can't time the move with it. The move, in theory, started there. It didn't, did it? The move actually started 1 ADR beyond when we got extended. So it's not, again, you can't time it, but it gives you an indication of direction. At some point it's going to be fast to the downside. So you just need to scale into it when that is going to happen, or when it's expected to happen. Obviously we don't know it's going to happen, do we? If we knew that, we'd be multi-billionaires, but we're not. Far from it. So there's that. That's the limits triggering. And again, you never know when they're going to trigger. We don't know when the market's going to start its move and its dump. This is a schizophrenic thing today, isn't it? So this is an absolutely classic rotation day. So if you look at the opening range breakout strategy on the website, where I give an example of a rotation day, this is pretty much textbook rotation day. So just no direction whatsoever at the moment. We are literally just rotating, accumulating, building up a position, ready to explode in one direction or the other. So again, higher time frame, you've got potential move up and down from here. But obviously, reversal alert at the moment is short. So the bias is definitely short. And obviously, as soon as that gets down to there, you're going to get a retest arrow. So that'll be your M pattern reversal. But you can't really reverse out of a range, which is why we've got a reversal alert after a reversal alert, because we're actually just range bound, aren't we? The reversal alert retest. Tricky old market today. So I've got another 130 locked in there. So takes me to $1,000 day. Not bad considering I was, what, 3,300 down this morning? Mr. Scalpy today, I was. Someone asked in the group actually this morning what my strategy was for scalping. I don't actually have a strategy. It's literally pure price action. I'm literally trading price action candlestick patterns. So exactly what I've been describing to you, you know, and that's why I traded the Dow the way I did today. Sorry, the DAX. So all the trades I took today were pure price action. So I'll run you through them quickly. So that entry there was taken because it was a breakout of the lows. So this was a breakout trade. We pushed down, pulled back, double topped the breakout, pulled back into resistance basically. So support becomes resistance. That candle closed bearish, so I took an additional position as that candle closed. Then we moved back down again, added, and then I took an add on the breakout of that low. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 positions short, got out of 2. And then we pushed down, pulled back, pushed down again, added another one, bearish engulfing. Yeah, so support becomes resistance, add, pushed down, closed another one there, added on a break of that low. Then we got a massive bull candle. Yeah, so that was my signal to get out of that trade as a loss, but use that one to break even on the 2. So when I got down to here, that is a big red flag. Yeah, we've had a big, strong push, put in 3 legs down, well, more than that actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 legs down, big push up to the upside. So as soon as I got that, I wanted to go long, so I took a long position, added, pulled back, scaled in on the double bottom, and then got out as we pushed up, and then carried on. So it's all pure price action. Yeah, got out of that one because we came up to that double top, pushed up above it, big hammer, shooting star, started to push down. So I just wanted to get out. It's approaching lunch anyway. So that's all I do. There's no, if this does that, then do this. It's literally pure price action. All I'm doing is I'm running with the market. The market is bearish. I'm looking for short opportunities. So breakouts to the downside, pullbacks to add, breakouts, just using price action, basically. I'm just trying to get on board with the train. Which is why I don't think you can build EAs to scalp, because as much as you can teach an EA price action, you can't teach it the intricacies of where you are at the time that the price action comes in. So if there's a massive bullish engulfing and I've already banked 1.5%, 2% or whatever, I'm going to get out on it. Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to go back the other way, but it's a flag, isn't it? It's a red flag to get out. So you only kind of notice that sort of stuff after you've watched it play out over and over again. Indecision, lower high, potentially lower low going in here. We've got 45 seconds left on this candle. Double bottom. Potentially, that closes a bear candle. Market structure. That'll be a nice short on the DAX. Although I wouldn't really be trading the DAX. Micro double top and a micro double bottom. Not really any inkling there as whether that's long or short, is there? So wait, see what happens next. Okay, gold's starting to run out of steam, hopefully. So we just had the retest on the reversal alert there on the hourly. Has pushed down again though. So we'll see if this is going to be that reversal back up and fade this move, which is what I'm hoping. We just get enough weakness to give gold an opportunity to push again. But I really want to be getting out of this. Shouldn't be in it. Shouldn't be trading it. It is my arch nemesis. Everyone's got to have an arch nemesis. Gold is mine. So this area here. So this is a propulsion gap on the 4-hour. You can't quite see it, but there. This is where we're finding some buyers. Hopefully we get some legs out of this. And then I'll be out of that. And again, I won't touch it. Next time I trade it, you have to tell me. And make sure I listen to you this time. Still long on the NASDAQ. Pound New Zealand's still coming down quite nicely. Again, looking for some weakness on that pound. Didn't quite get ADR. Did anyone take pound odd? ADR? Just got the reversal on it. Again, trodden on at the NAS at the moment. Can't get any movement. So Dow's basically back up to where we were. So we just put in a new high of the session for the Dow. So again, divergence across the indices. Dow is pushing a lot harder than the NASDAQ, but getting rejected at the highs. So again, this could be the start of a move back down again. We've got divergence, RSI divergence as well on the 5-minute chart. I'm going to make sure I cancel these pendings off today. So going to stop out on that one. That's going to be me done on the indices today. Done pretty well out of the indices. Not particularly well on the funded, to be honest. Actually, a little bit of a loss on the funded account. Okay. So stopped out 1.15. Right. So again, here looking pretty bearish. So potentially market structure on the NASDAQ is short. So there's your lower high. Looking to put in potentially a lower low. However, on the Dow, you've got an expanding wedge. That could go anywhere. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. Just going to monitor these. So CAD Swiss still running. Shorts, it's not gone anywhere today. We had a nice push down. I had a chance to get out at break even on that. I didn't take it. I still like that as a short. Pound New Zealand, obviously we know about. I mean, that's pushing down quite nicely at the moment. I'm just scaling out of that at the moment. And I will keep scaling out of it if it continues to push, but hopefully we'll get a move down on that. So that is my main exposure to the Australian dollar, Pound New Zealand and New Zealand CAD. So I've got exposure long New Zealand. So I'm hoping for an Australian push tomorrow. Interest rates coming out as expected or better. So 3.35 to 3.5 would be absolutely perfect. That should give the Aussie a push, which will help with New Zealand. And that will give me a nice exit on some of these as well. Gold, I'm obviously in stupidly, which I shouldn't be. So I will scale out of this gold if it continues to push. But who knows? And Euro Pound, which I've just got into. But I'm not looking to get into anything else at the minute. Waiting for the Aussie news to come out, and then obviously we'll reassess. But nothing else is really setting up in line at the moment, apart from that Euro Pound, which is pulled back very nicely. So I've gotten into that one. No sentiment trades, I don't think. So still no sentiment trades yet. I just need to clean this here up, which is annoying. I wanted to see if this was going to take something today, but hasn't had an opportunity. So the way this is working, just to explain, we're looking for shorts on this one, on Euro US dollar, because 70-something% of the market are long. Yeah, 70% of the market are long, euro US dollar. Oh, wrong one. So looking for long opportunities. So you're looking for short opportunities on this. So the only time this EA will get me in is if we take a sweep of yesterday's high. So that's where I would get in short on it because the market is long. So obviously this is only really going to trade when we are pulling back against sentiment, i.e. retail are starting to win. That's when I start to get in, when retail are getting their profit on. That one's not a bias. Pound CAD, I've got it set to 70.30, so it's only actually going to trade sentiment when we get a 70 long or 30 short to start longing it. So there's no sentiment advantage there. That one is a long, so I'll be looking to short it. Again, there was an entry there. That would have triggered a short there if I was using the 4-hour high extension. So that would have got me in there, but I'm using yesterday's high. So again, if we got up to there, I'll get in short. New Zealand, don't know. Can't really tell because of this. I need to... you can see how it's changed over time, look. 33, 32, 31, 29. This is just since it's been running today. So this is updating every hour. So it pulls in new sentiment every hour. So the current on this is pound US is 33.67. So that's the current. So that's how it's changed over the last 5 hours today since I set this up this morning. So we fluctuated between 29 and 33. So you can see how much sentiment changes throughout the day. Yeah, and this is triggering on 30 or above. Sorry, 30 or below. So there was an opportunity when we were there. But it's interesting, isn't it, how it changes. But I need to recode this so that it doesn't draw a new one every time. It just updates. We'll do that in a minute, and then I'll re-upload the EA. Yeah, no opportunities today. So we'll see how that pans out. Obviously, this is all in live testing now, so the whole point of live testing is to see what goes on. But it's not going to take any trades. There's no opportunities, so it's exactly what I want it to do. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Same time, we'll trade the DAX tomorrow morning. Have a look at the fallout from the Australian dollar. See what we need to do with the Australian dollar moving forward. And then see how everything is panning out on the FX front. And see if there's any opportunities to get into anything new. All right, so have a good day. If you're carrying on trading the indices, good luck. A choppy mess. Very, very difficult to trade at the moment. So good luck. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a good day.